As we start part 4 of chapter 2 in our additional work, we're going to take a look at applications and survey analysis. And this is our objective. So we're going to take a look at this Venn diagram of 3 sets, A, B, and C, and they're giving us some information. For instance, they're saying, they're not asking this, but if they did, how many elements are in set A? Well, A would contain 26 plus 5 plus 1 plus 8. So that would be the cardinal number of set A if it were all by itself. How about set B? Well, there would be 19 plus 5 plus 1 plus 10. And C would be 22 plus 10 plus 1 plus 8. Now, if they ask what is the cardinal number in the universe here, remember, we don't allow repeats. So all of those that are an intersection could only be counted once. And then you would count the 19, the 26, and the 22. So again, careful analysis of what's there, depending on the question they're going to ask you. All right, so let's look at some that they're going to ask us here. Now, in this one, they want us to use the information in the Venn diagram to determine the cardinal number of A intersecting with B intersecting with C. So where in our diagram is this, where all 3 intersect? Well, it's right here. So the cardinal number of this is 1. And again, you should have this in your notes and this example. And if I were to say, what's the cardinal number of example 1A, you could give it by this information. Now, in looking at B, they want the cardinal number of the intersection between A and B. So we would see that in this area, the intersection between A and B would be 6. Now again, they could have asked a whole string of questions, but this is how it's done. Now in this one, which is a skill check, and we're still using that same diagram, what would be the cardinal number for the intersection of A and C? Well, A and C, that intersection would be 9. Now, the intersection of B and C that would be 11. And again, it can be a little tricky. What are they asking? And looking at the diagram laid out like this should be rather easy to pick it out. And there are our answers. Okay, what I did for this one, for example 2, they want us to construct a Venn diagram of 3 sets. They're giving the universe as all the letters of the alphabet. A looks like the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Set B are the alphabet up to letter L, and C is the alphabet up to, well, letters of the alphabet of the word alumni. Now, what I did is I made a Venn diagram. This is not it yet, but this is giving you some background. That when we have a Venn diagram with 3 circles that are intersecting, there are 8 regions. So these numbers just refer to regions if we were going to place data in them. So this would be only in A, only in B, only in C. This would be intersection between A and C, but only in A and C. That would be 5. 7 would be intersection of all 3, and so on. And that's what they're describing up here. Now the universal set, once again, if all of these letters, let me just show it to you, if it was like this, A, union with B, union with C, complement. Now that would be area 8, because you'd shade all of this, and then whatever's not in any of these would be in the universe, and that's what the universe equals here. It's the complement of all of these. Again, there's a number of things to look at, but let's see what they're asking here. And I'll show you how I set this up, and hopefully it'll be useful for you. Okay. It's not too fancy a diagram, but I drew it by hand, and I'm not a great circle drawer. But you want a technique. So, let's see how we start to fill this in. Now, we can use some of the strategy we used a little earlier. And we're looking at all, you had to write all these letters out too. You couldn't use the short version. So we have A here. Oh, it's too thick. A here. We have an A there. And we have an A there. So the intersection of A, B, and C is here. So we're going to have an A there. Now we have an E there, an E there, but no E there. So that would be intersection between A and B. A and B, we're going to have an E. All right, let's look at the I. We have an I. We have an I there. And we have an I there. So intersection of the three is right here. Now we go to the O. O is in A, but not in any of these others, so the O goes there. And then we have the U. U doesn't there, doesn't there. So the U also, let me see here, oh, there's one there too. All right, U and U. So A and C, we have a U. All right, now we've finished with the A set. We need to pick up on these others to see where they are. And one of the things you probably should do is cross off as you use letters here off from your universe. So you keep track of what's left. So now you're going to go to a B, and B is only found in B. In fact, a technique might be, let's look at the M here to finish off this one. M is only in C. N is only in C. So we need to do the M, N, and the L here is only, no, L is in C and in B. So L in C and in B. All right, well, we've got you started halfway through here, sort of. And you want to cross off the letters you've used. Double check your work, look it over carefully, and see what you come up with. I will pause, finish it, and then get back. So I've used all the letters here, so I had to fill in there. This is going to be in B. So I have a C, a D, C, D, C, D, F, G, H, F, G, H, F, G, H, J, K, and I used the I already here. Okay. And I've used the L. So now I can cross all these out. And what do I have left? Well, I have these for the universe. And also this. So let's put that in. So again, you're looking for a strategy. I like the idea of laying it all out and crossing things off, but again, you might have another that would work well. Okay, let's go on to see what the book has, and you have your record now. And much neater and well done here. There it is. Notice they're not using commas here. And I think often when they give you stuff like this, they give you a multiple choice thing where you have to pick out the one. But you pretty much need to write it out to be sure you have the correct data placed in the right position. All right. Now, another kind of analysis is what we call a survey analysis. Here we have 500 students show that 350 listen to jazz, 300 listen to classical music, 200 listen to both. Draw a Venn diagram to illustrate this survey. Now what I did is I did the notes for this. I sketched this out already. So you need to write this down. Now remember the inclusion-exclusion principle. We can't repeat things. So in doing something like this, what you would have to do first, students that like both types of music, you'd have to put that as intersection. Now, you knew that you had 350 like jazz, so the total of this was 350. So you would subtract 200 from the 350 and get those that just liked jazz. And if 300 like classical as well, you'd have to subtract the 200 from the 300 to get the 100. Now again, how many students made up the universe? Well, we said there were 500. It looks like my pen froze there for a moment. There we go. Well, if you add this up, this is 350, 450. So there is apparently 50 left in the universe that doesn't listen to any of these kinds of music. Probably country and western fans, but you never know. Okay. Okay, let's do this one together. So I will sketch a Venn diagram here, very crudely, of course. Now there were 400 customers, so our universe is 400. I'll put that out here. Now let's put chocolate here and vanilla here. Now when you see something like this, and again you can pause and work it on your own, 200 like both. So there's where the 200 goes, right there. So if 225 like chocolate ice cream, there's 200. So to get 225, we subtract 200 from 225, and for chocolate it's going to be 25. So there's the 225. And let's see, what are we missing? 300 like vanilla. So we have 200, take away the 300, or from 300, leaves us with 100. So this leads us to a total of 325. So how many didn't like ice cream of the 400 surveyed? Looks like 75. Okay, let's see how we did here. So this worked out. When you know the intersection, you always put that in first. Then you can work backwards a little bit. Now as we go on to example 4, we want to do a Venn diagram developing this. And it'll take a moment to read. And you can pause. And what I did is I developed something like this. And again, they're giving you the various areas to place data in. We did this earlier. And this is what I did here. Now it cut off a little bit of mine down here below, but you can see what we have. So we want to start filling this in. Now again, I worked on this already. So, no student who took French also took Russian. So there's French, Russian. So what are we going to put here? No student. We put a 0 there. So there's none there. Now, 39 who took French also took German. So where would that go here? Well, French, German, our 39 is going to go right there. 84 who took German also took Russian. So German, Russian, this is going to be 84. Okay, now there were 55 reported taking French. Well, we had 55 altogether here, but 39 are tied up here, so 39 from 55 leaves 16. Now this adds up to 55. We're filling in our data. Now 141 reported taking German. Well, we add these two together, because these took German as well, subtract it from 141, and we get 18. Now, there were 92 who studied Russian. Well, altogether there were 92. We have 84 here. So 84 from 92 leaves us with 8. And again, we could have spent more time on this, but I want to just be sure you understand the strategy. A good technique, you carefully write out your data and then start filling in your Venn diagram. Let's see what they have for us here. Okay, mine is still a little bit visible. That 0, of course, goes up there. And we did well on this one. Now remember, you can always pause and go back. Now here is a skill check. Again, you can make a Venn diagram. And you have to pause it. I'm going to do this in my booklet too. We might have a question on it. I might not exactly I might ask something about the Venn diagram. So hopefully you've paused it now, have it down. Now if we wanted to find out how many liked bananas, notice what we'd have to do is add all of these together. Those that liked apples, we'd have to add all of these together. Those that like grapes, we'd have to add all of these together. And then depending upon the question that they're asking you. Sounds like a song here, but I won't go into that. Okay, well that will wrap up this lesson. It was a little challenging and it does take time.